Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to use pie dough to line a standard pie plate. I'm going to be using a 10-inch pie plate. You can use glass, you can use disposable, you can use metal, whatever you have handy. And I already have my pie dough chilled and ready to go. This is 10 ounces of pie dough. This is enough to get one bottom layer. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with a little bit of bread flour, just a light dusting on my surface so that my dough doesn't stick to my countertop. Do it just a little touch on top too. And this is pretty firm, so I'm going to use my rolling pin to kind of tenderize this a little bit. Just do a few taps, rotate it 90 degrees. We'll do this a few more times. This is just helps spreading out our dough a little bit, and it helps prevent deep cracks from forming on the bottom side. So now I'm ready to start rolling. I'm gonna make sure that my dough is moving freely. If it's sticking at all to your countertop, you wanna make sure just add that light dusting of flour. And then I'm gonna add just a touch more on top so that my rolling pin doesn't stick to this either. So when I'm rolling, I'm gonna use nice firm pressure. I'm not going to roll off the edges here on the front or the back. If I roll off the edges, I'll continually thin the outside and my middle of my dough will be thicker than the outside. I want everything to be the same thickness. So I do a few passes this way. I rotate 90 degrees. Now my thick edges are on the side, and I'm going to do the same technique again. Just a few passes straight in front of you. I'm not angling out to the side, and then rotate that again. If you find that the top of your dough starts to stick a little bit, just that light dusting of flour just enough so that a rolling pin doesn't stick. We don't want to make this dough overly dry. Make sure that's moving. So you can see now I'm kind of starting to get a little bit of a square, and I'm going to be putting this in a round pie tin. So I'm going to rotate this just less than 90 degrees now, so I can work on keeping a round shape so I don't have a lot of dough that ends up being unusable. So make sure that's moving, looking good. I'm going for a final thickness of about 1/8 of an inch. That's gonna be sturdy enough to hold my fillings, but not so thick that my dough won't be able to cook all the way, and I end up with raw dough, or just be unappetizing because I have this really thick crust layer. All right, I'm feeling this. It looks nice and even. My thickness is even. I'm gonna just bring my pie plate here to make sure that it looks like it can fit. I think I need to bring it a little bit more on this end right here. All right. So now my dough can be a little bit delicate. It's started to warm up a little bit while I have this out, even though I'm working as quickly as possible to keep this fat cold and my dough firm. If I slide my hands underneath and try to move this over to my pie plate, my hands could break through and I could end up tearing this. So to make this a little safer, I am making sure the top of my dough isn't sticky, and I'm gonna just very delicately fold this in quarters. I'm gonna bring my pie plate over. It's just a standard size pie plate. And then I match this corner right here in the middle, and then unfold that. Nice and easy. Now I'm just gently making sure that all of my pie crust is extended out over the edge of the pie plate. Now it is. So now I'm going to just gently lift up my edges so that I can make sure that my dough comes into this sort of corner of the pie pan and that all of my dough is in contact with my baking dish. Okay. Now, for my overhang here, I'm just going to take a paring knife and I'm going to run that right against the edge of my pie plate. If your knife starts to stick, you can just have a little flour there so we can get a nice sharp edge and our dough isn't tearing away. So now this is ready for filling. Also, if I wanted to par bake this, I could do that at that point. I'm gonna be using this pie for an apple pie, and I need to get my filling done, so I'm actually gonna keep this in the refrigerator. And you can always, if you're not ready to use this right away, keep it chilled so that this stays as firm as possible and the integrity of our butter stays in those small pieces and we get that nice crust that we're after. So I hope you guys have good luck with your pies, and I'll see you next time.